everyone. Welcome to another episode of Speaking into the Abyss. This is your host, Jess.
This is your other host, Des.
Hello, Des.
Hey, Jess.
We're bringing back a fan favorite this episode.
Reddit Rift.
Woo! If this is your first time listening to a Reddit Rift episode, it is our episodes where we read some stories sent in by people found online, mostly Reddit based.
Yeah, Reddit stories. Yes. Yeah. We've done themes usually in the past. This episode is a little bit different.
Yeah, we're just random.
Kind of like random, whatever caught our eye.
Yes.
And then we're going to be like obviously talking about it.
There'll be a little bit of discussion after.
Yeah. So why don't you hit us with our first story, Jess?
Yes, I will start us off. Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's in the same league as the men she calls ugly? My friend, 19 female, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type that always says she wants a boyfriend, wants to do couple things, feels lonely, single, etc. She's also, in my opinion, at least very normal and average looks-wise. Oh. Not ugly, not super hot, just all right.
Okay.
Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men there are ugly, short, etc., and she doesn't match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly, and she showed me her likes, and it mostly showed people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. I told her that these guys were all in her league, and she should give some of them a chance since she always complains about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she's in the same league as them and said that she's much more attractive than them. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she does find attractive, so what? She's not in their league. She said, "What? That I am an asshole. Am I?" Question mark. And like, okay, crazy, because like I would never be friends with someone that I thought was just average looking.
Yeah, you've said this before. You've said all your friends are very attractive or very pretty.
Yeah, I just like, and you know, not by choice. It just happens. I have really good looking friends. Like, you know, like, and I just think it'd be crazy. I guess if I did have a friend that I thought was like average looking, I wouldn't tell them. That's fucked up. Why are you going to tell one of your close friends?
But I don't think, okay, I don't know. I thought we were going to agree, but maybe not.
Okay, no.
Here's my thing. I think maybe she didn't even tell her did it say she told her she was average looking, or did she just say you match those people? Because I thought she was just saying, in her opinion, she's average looking, but I didn't know if she told her.
But she said that you're in the same league as them. But so that means...
I guess, but no one said that the dudes are average. She just said you guys are in the same league. She just thinks she's better than those dudes. So is she just as bad for being like, oh, they're beneath me? And then her friend is like, okay, well, you're the same as them. And then just because of her perception of them, that's an insult to her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of.
It's all perception. Because even if she didn't think she was mid, she's still just saying, like, well, you're equal to them.
Okay.
I guess. Like, I didn't feel like she said directly to her, like, oh, you're mid or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. In her head, she thinks all those dudes are ugly. And then your friend's like, yeah, you're just like them. Like,
I guess, yeah. I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. I just thought it was funny, like... So I guess we don't really have clarification on if she's actually said, like, you're plain Jane looking or not.
You're like average me or whatever it was.
I hope she finds this post, though. Is that me you're talking about?
Yeah. I wonder how close they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The first comment says, I'm so glad I'm not 19 anymore.
Oh my God, they're so young. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
That's like very immature thoughts, I feel like.
Yes,
or things to care about, really.
Yeah.
Okay. This is relationship advice. I, 21 male, haven't let go of my feelings towards my best friend, 24 female, after a year since I confessed. We met a little over a year ago at university and quickly became close friends. I developed a crush on her. Sometime later, I found out she had a boyfriend. They were in a rocky relationship, so I didn't have the courage to tell her how I felt. A month passed with us spending a lot of time together playing games, talking, and hanging out. The day after she broke up with her then boyfriend, she and I went out drinking with my friend group and 2 other classmates. During the hangout, some people commented that the 4 of us looked like couples getting to know each other. She rejected the assumption and immediately got flustered, acted weird, and I didn't say anything. Later that night, after some time, without talking directly, she came up to me and asked, "Do you have something to say to me?" That's when I told her everything I felt. The conversation was very uncomfortable for both of us, but she was compassionate. Even though I confessed all my feelings just a day after her breakup, in the past, she had a lot of guys act friendly towards her only to pursue her romantically, and when they realized they didn't have a chance, they'd leave. I promised her that night I wouldn't be like that and that I would be there for her. Over the past year, a lot has happened. We stayed close friends through all the happy and messy moments. All of her college friends cut ties with her, and for a while, I was the only one she could rely on and trust. My romantic feelings for her faded, and I developed crushes on other girls. But still, deep down, I sometimes wonder about the what ifs and what if we got together. She's a wonderful person, and we have a lot in common, but she doesn't feel that way about me. I'm not her type physically, and she's way out of my league in terms of attractiveness. She's had crushes on other guys, some of them my friends, and all I did was bottle up my jealousy and focus on improving myself. We love each other deeply, and honestly, my love for her as a friend is much stronger than my lingering romantic feelings. But lately, I find myself thinking about her in a way and way more often, and I feel nothing but shame and guilt for not being honest with her. I don't know if I have the guts to tell her the truth.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was like, I don't know. I feel like you realizing that like you're doing exactly the same thing that everyone else has done to her
Yeah.
is like weird that you're not like removing yourself from the situation. Because when it ultimately comes to a head, I feel like 'cause you're not going to be able to hold that in forever.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to be able to hold back your jealousy forever either.
Yeah.
And when that comes to a point where you're like, well, here's why I'm acting crazy or whatever. It's because like I haven't told you because I'm not a grown ass person who can't like get my emotions out.
Yes.
But like also I lied to you because I said I could just be your friend. But like I can't.
Yeah.
Like then, you know, it's going to cause a lot more issues down the road. So yeah, it's fucked up.
Crazy. Was that like a recent-ish post?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. 4 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how funny. The one I just heard was also 4 hours ago.
The only comment is leagues don't exist. Get that nonsense out of your head. The fact is she just doesn't like you like that. You should distance yourself because you can't be just platonic with her.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Which is, I was going to say, how do you feel about like guys and girls having friendships, platonic friendships, nothing else? Because like I know there's the half that is like there's no way every guy that's your friend wants to like be with you, but I feel like I have a lot of great guy friends that we're just friends and like there's never been anything else than that.
Right. I'm going to sound super hypocritical, but like I have had male friendships and it's cool, whatever. Like,
yeah.
I literally don't feel anything for them, but I've had multiple times male friendships and they have feelings for me. So I am biased in that way.
Okay.
But I know that it is possible because I also have had friendships where it just strictly was friendship on both sides. However, for my partner wise, I am extremely jealous, I feel like, and that is something that I obviously have to work on. But it is hard for me to imagine. Well, he isn't like that, but like it's hard for me to imagine
if he would have
those
a friend,
yeah, or even like multiple, or like, you know, one really close one or whatever. Like it's hard for me to imagine because he's just whatever. But yeah, I don't know, but I think it is possible.
Yeah,
I think it is possible. It just sucks when it ends up not being that way for the other person.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But and it's so.
I mean, I guess I would understand like the guys falling in love with you because you're so amazing.
You're ridiculous. No,
I'm just being honest.
You silly goose.
Okay. This one is, I hate living with my husband. Oof. My husband, male 43, and I, female 42, have been married for less than a year, but did live together for 2 years prior. He is a slob. His teenage daughter, 14, also lives here, and she is just as bad as him. I moved into his house from my own townhouse. At the time I moved into, he told me he was going to clean it up and organize everything. The house is very cluttered and disorganized. He did get rid of a lot of stuff right before I moved in, but over time, he's gotten more stuff. My husband and stepdaughter struggle with basic cleanliness like throwing away the trash, throwing the trash in the trash can. They both tend to leave wrappers and apple cores, dirty dishes, etc., next to chairs they have been sitting in, mainly in the living room, but they both have gotten up from the breakfast table and left all the dirty dishes sitting there, like they were abducted by aliens. It's not that they expect me to clean, because I won't. They just don't care. My husband is ADHD, and most likely stepdaughter is too. The other problem is that it's his house. It's very dated and old. Things break and he just leaves it broken. I could repair it myself, but this isn't my house. We've never combined finances and I have no ownership in the house. I pay for the repairs on my house on my own. If I ask him, which I do over and over, he either blows up or says he will or never does it. Our house, that house on the street, beat down and trashy, no love or attention has been given to this house. I'm at my limit. I left a perfectly good house to come to his house that looks like a disorganized garage. He won't hire an organizer, decorator, contractor, or anyone else to help him. We have a cleaning lady that comes once a week. We have had 2 sessions of marriage counseling, but stopped because he was complaining that it was too much and it was not productive. I do love him. He is a sweet man and a good person. We just have much different living standards. At the end of the day, I want to come home and relax in a clean house and not look at garbage. We both work hard and make comfortable livings. Money is not the issue. I'm planning on moving out. He knows this, but I guess I'm just wondering if I'm throwing away a good relationship over something fixable.
Ooh. Okay, here's my thing. If it really matters to you so much, then do it. None of this like separating yourself from the issue, but you want it to be fixed. Like if he's not doing it and you're saying you could totally do it yourself, then fucking do it. If you don't have to spend the money and you could just fix it yourself, do it. But if you have to spend the money because it matters to you, then also do that. And
Yeah.
maybe that would inspire him to like also do the same. Maybe he'd be like, oh, should I feel bad that you're doing it? Here, let me pay
Yeah.
it back and let me start doing this stuff.
Yeah. Maybe, or is it like the principal, you think? And she's
I'm
just
sure
like,
it's the principal.
she's just like super hard on it and like,
I'm sure it's the principal, but then you have to also be comfortable with living in that situation then.
yeah.
Because like there's, you know, you're saying you're also open to the possibility that they're not going to do it then.
Yeah.
And then you have to be in that situation.
Yeah. I wonder like what kind of repairs, and like, I feel like maybe they're expensive because she's like, I would do these on my own house, but it's not mine, you know?
Right. But like, she's living there full time, right?
I don't know.
She said she left her house to go to there. So I have to assume that why wouldn't you check out the house also before you moved in?
Well, he said he was going to fix it up. So I don't know. Doesn't she know guys lie?
I don't know. Or just be like, well, it should maybe just be easier to come to my house then. If my house is better organized.
Yeah. I wonder if she's not fixing it because she feels like the relationship is failing. So she plans like to leave anyways. And she's like, I'm not going to spend my money on this or something.
And it could also be like an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to get out of here. By the way, like, because you could never actually fix anything and you never like dedicated any time to doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Then I don't want to continue this, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, I hope whatever. I hope she feels better.
Yeah.
Okay. So I told my dorm mate she stinks and she told me to move on. I sent my post yesterday and received lots of helpful advice. So today I decided to talk to the girl again and be as straightforward as possible because the humidity in Japan today was so high that the hallway connecting our rooms felt like a stinky sauna. I told her that she smells bad and asked if she needed help with cleaning laundry and whether she had soap and deodorant, since these can be an issue in Japan. She said there's nothing she can do about it and that she uses everything and takes showers. I couldn't tell if she was lying because she kept stumbling over her words, and I always see her with greasy hair and wearing the same clothes. I explained that I have to wait for the smell to clear out every time I go to the bathroom, shower, or kitchen, and again, she said there's nothing she can do. When I asked why she's so sure of that if she hasn't even tried changing her habits. She repeated again that she showers. I said I was shocked that she doesn't want to change anything and that she's not ashamed of smelling so bad in such a clean country, especially considering she's an adult, not a teenager who might have an excuse. She said again, there's nothing she can do, even if I complain to the RA, and that it's not in the dorm rules. When I asked if it would be okay for me to use air freshener after her, she got offended. It's funny because she was totally calm when I told her she stinks. Her mental strength amazed me. That's where the story ends. But there's an update.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to share with you guys about how this story escalated in the last couple days. I reported my dorm mate to the RA for poor hygiene that affects me and other girls on our floor, but she was smarter and reported me to the housing department for allegedly harassing her. And instead of going to the gym, I had to come back to the dorm and have a talk to our RA after receiving an email today. I still could not believe it. It's so funny that even my RA laughed a couple times while we were discussing this for a whole hour. I became a villain in the stinky dormy story just by telling her she smells bad, and I cannot understand if she's showering after receiving a DM from her that is called, I cannot do anything, so you and others need to just adjust. She's reported that she was tired, and despite that, I was asking her questions like how old she is. She doesn't have an excuse of smelling bad when she's not a teenager. Am I really the only one who's telling her that? And if that it's okay if I use an air freshener after her in the kitchen and bathroom? I had to explain everything to my RA, including me being not able to shower right after her and why I decided to talk face to face and be blunt. I asked my RA if there's no rules about smell and how are there rules about me telling her to wash herself properly. He said there's none, but she reported me. She also mentioned that I was allegedly talking about her origin. I never mentioned where she's from, here or to my friends, or when I talked to the RA, since I don't believe in it being a problem. I had to sit there and explain and defend myself in Japanese as if I was the one who smelled like rotten eggs and didn't wash my head and wash my feet in a sink where everyone's washing their faces. I'm shocked the RA told me they want us to have a good relationship and that I need to apologize. I refused to, despite saying to me she's not embarrassed today. The girl perfumed herself at her door. I said to the RA that I will never talk to her again, and now I need to wait for the housing department verdict. I actually want to cry, kind of.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Living with someone so stinky.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like that stuff's like only in movies ever, you know?
Have
that,
you... Well, actually, no, we were talking about it the other day. We went to some show and there's some pretty stinky people.
But I mean, like, in my head, I don't know. In my head, I think of like people that like, I feel like you have to just smell so bad to like stink. Like, I feel like the way she's describing it is like you could like be walking up the hall and you're like, oh, what is that? Which I don't know if it's that bad, but the way it was told, that's what that made me think of.
Yeah, I agree. There are like people who suffer from like really extreme body odor, like nothing covers it up.
Well, yeah, like
because
there's like diseases and stuff too.
Oh,
like,
I don't even know.
There's like, I don't know, I can't remember. I've heard of like a few that like it's like a like you can't do anything of. So that's why I was thinking it's that. But
and there's like MBO's bacteria, so it's like I don't know. It could be a bunch of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's definitely it's a meme, but it's like because people like that exist that like those kind of like shut in people who never shower and like just stink and like surround themselves with piss. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's possible. Who knows? But that would suck to fucking live with someone who's so stinky.
Well,
like
yeah, because I don't know. That's crazy. Would you be like, if you were the stinky person and they told you that, how would you?
I would cry.
You would cry. You're like,
I would be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how stinky I was. Because there's no way I would do that on purpose.
You're like, no one ever told me in my
life. That's crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, dude, some people really are just like stinky, bro. Like, I'm trying to think, like, not even just BO, but some people have really bad breath. Some people have really bad breath. Some people have like just a scent about them.
Okay.
And it's just like, you know, you kind of just like take it and you kind of try not to breathe it in. And then you kind of go about your day.
Yeah. So, like, people who don't wash their scalp correctly. When you wash them, so like, you know, like you can wash them and stuff, but like sometimes the smell's so permeated from them not like getting, because like when a lot of people wash their hair, they get like the top of their scalp and even like most of the back, but forget all of like the bottom right here.
Yeah.
And when you go to blow dry them, it has this weird smell.
Really?
Yeah, it's like not terrible, but it's not good. It smells like kind of funky, and you're like, oh, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. The more you know.
Yeah.
The more you know. Okay, let me get into my next story. Sister-in-law expressed, I don't deserve our new house. Now husband's family is melting down. My husband, 38 male, and I, 33 female, just bought our first house. My husband has a pretty high-paying job. I work and make a decent salary, but our budget to buy our new house was definitely influenced more by his earnings. We had his family over last week. Generally, I loved his parents. They've always been really good to me and they're fun. I have not spent as much time with his sister outside of holiday gatherings, but we do have her son, husband's nephew, stay with us a few weeks out of the summer for the last few years. So I know him well and love him too. So everyone mentioned above comes over and we show them around the house. At one point, I'm showing sister-in-law a kitchenette in the basement and I say something like, it's great that our house has this space now, so if you ever want to come visit us, you'll basically have a separate apartment. And she goes, is it also your house? I'm immediately confused, but also I guess she could have assumed my husband bought it on his own. I said, yeah, we bought it together. And she goes, do you think you deserve to own half of this house? I don't know. I just think it's crazy.
What?
I was shocked and I mostly panicked and said, well, yeah, I do, and fled the basement. I immediately told my husband away from his family, and in turn, he immediately went to talk to his sister. I went to hang out with his parents and didn't say anything to them, but then we heard shouting outside. My husband and his sister were yelling at each other, and I know people are different with their siblings, but I've never really heard him yell at her before. I could hear him tell her that we don't have a prenup, and she called him an idiot. I had to tell his parents what was going on. They went and intervened and left pretty quickly. With his sister and nephew, who luckily, I think through the magic of video games, didn't hear any of this commotion. His mom said sorry to me on the way out. I did touch base with my husband, and he was livid, like way more angrier than I expected. He told me that before we got married, his sister was the beneficiary of his life insurance, and he thought she was angry over essentially being removed from all his assets. But we've been married for 3 years. She apparently had texted him about being added onto the house paperwork a few weeks ago during the buying process, and he just ignored her. His parents have reached out to me and have been very sweet/apologetic, but they really want to fix things and ask if I'll talk to my SIL, which is short for sister-in-law. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to step away from it and just say it's now between me and my husband and his sister. Is that fair? ? Of course, I'm a bit hurt by her saying that, but at the end of the day, if she has problems with how he's handling his assets, that's between the two of them, right? ? I really feel bad because his family has always been so sweet, and I really love his nephew and also want things to be fixed. ... Edit. Wow, this blew up a bit, and I want to make an update when we have one. We have plans to chat about it today and speak with his parents and figure out how we want to go forward. I agree with essentially all of you, and I'm not planning to discuss it with her until she apologizes and to answer some common questions. Nephew's dad is not and has not been in the picture for a long time. SIL has been in and out of relationships with not the best types of dude. She is younger and there's no other siblings. Yes, there's been a pattern of her getting more help from her parents than my husband, but it's because she really needs it with being a single mom, and my husband has always been pretty independent. I promise I don't tell every person on the street about our lack of a prenup. My husband did come into the marriage with a lot of assets, so I think when his friends and family expressed curiosity about a prenup, it was coming from a place of concern/care for him, and I love that. So it felt appropriate to share how we made that decision. No one ever pushed back. I've never talked to his sister about it, and I think she didn't know, but my husband yelled it at her in anger We don't have a prenup way. We're planning on kids, but could still keep up what we currently do for our nephew, even if we did. He's just become an official teenager, so the college fund is close to being complete. At this stage, we don't add much money to it anymore. It's just a curing. So obviously she's answering random questions from the comments, but yeah, I don't know. I just was like, that's like, I don't know.
Obviously, it's so out of pocket for
Yeah.
the sister-in-law to be acting like that. And like, super red flaggy, and I would be scared if she was still like a beneficiary that she'd try to murder me or something.
Well, yeah, that's crazy. Like, I like cool because at the time he's like, who else am I going to give all my stuff to? And he's like, oh, my little sister.
The comment about like, do you think you deserve half of this house is like, so she thinks she does.
Yeah,
She
she's like, you
does
think you
the
deserve
half.
this half? No, I do.
Right. That's crazy, dude.
But
I would
yeah.
hate to have someone like that in like as a sister-in-law.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy too because like them helping her out and like watching her kid for like a few weeks every summer, like probably is a great help for her. Like she doesn't have to feed him, cook for him,
Yeah.
has like time for herself to go hang out with those not so great dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that the husband did like stick up.
Say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You
'Cause-
never know.
No, definitely. I feel like I hear a lot of stories of these like marriages and the partner has a hard time saying something to family members.
Yeah.
That's always so disappointing.
Yes,
So those
it
are the
is.
people you should be able to say something to.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Okay, this is from r/petty revenge.
Ooh, I love this.
Caught the office food thief accidentally. I am relatively new at my job, and it's not the most organized place. There's a full kitchen/break room with a full fridge/freezer, and even an oven. There are no rules about the food in the fridge, so some is there to share and some is private. I just stick to what I brought, and I keep it in a small lunch bag to keep it from being confused with a shareable. Another thing, this is in rural North Carolina, and I'm originally from New York. I've been here a while, but there's still cultural differences that matter. So, apparently, there has been a rash of food thefts. No one spoke about them, at least with me, and it seems that everyone was prepared to suffer in silence. So yesterday I brought my lunch in, and it was leftover chori pollo, and it was spicy. I enjoyed it spicy, and it was a bit much even for me. I have learned that in this area people like things much sweeter and much less spicy than I'm used to. So when I entered the break room for my lunch, a bunch of people were standing around, and one of the guys, Brent, was getting his blood pressure taken by the HR lady. I was concerned. He came over and immediately started yelling at me and telling me I'd tried to poison him. I was so confused, but after a whole back and forth, I realized that Brent had stolen and attempted to eat my lunch and was claiming that I put an inedible amount of spices on it, and I had explained that I like spicy food. I didn't expect him to take my lunch, and now that I'm looking back at it, I'm shocked he knew it was mine. Like, it's in a small floral lunch bag, but I didn't put my name on it. So that is how everyone now knows that Brent is 1, a food thief, and 2, can't handle a spice. This is especially amusing to people because Brent is an older man, over 6 foot, and prides himself on being macho. And I'm 5 foot nothing woman and least intimidating person ever. Too long, didn't read. I bought an extra spicy food that made a food thief think he was having heart palpitations.
Oh my gosh.
That's honestly satisfying.
Yeah, okay.
How are you stealing people's food?
Yeah, dude.
Don't steal people's food.
Happens everywhere, unfortunately.
That's sick. That's disgusting.
That story reminded me of a Reddit story I heard about this guy who's like having issues with his roommate, like stealing his food.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like deathly allergic to peanuts, I guess, or something. Or no, I'm sorry, he's not deathly allergic to peanuts. A light peanut allergy. But basically he tells him like he's eating all his stuff and he's like, don't eat this. So he makes something and purposely puts like peanuts. I can't remember I'm just using peanuts as the example, but let's say it's peanuts. Puts it in whatever food and like tells him a bunch of times, don't eat this, don't eat this. And then he has to go to the like ER and stuff and like,
God.
get whatever. And then like the mom's mad at him. Like the guy's mom is like, oh, you have to pay for my son's hospital bill.
That's psycho.
And like this
I
and
mean,
that.
like, both ways.
Yeah, but I was like crazy, but it just reminded me of that.
Yeah. But like, imagine he would have killed him.
But he said, and that's why I said it wasn't, because he said, oh, he's not. He just gets like itchy and like super.
It's not severe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I flipped it. Sorry. Misremembrance.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Navigating dating as a 28-year-old virgin. Does anyone have advice or experience? So basically, as the title says, I am female 28 and I am still a virgin. To give some background, I've struggled with my weight and self-confidence for most of my life. Although I am conventionally pretty, I have always struggled with my weight. And on top of that, dealt with severe depression and anxiety from ages 22 to 26. So safe to say there was a chunk of my life where I felt undesirable and probably unworthy of love/meeting someone. In the last couple of years, though, I have been through a long journey of self-discovery and improvement. I have made a lifestyle and career change, and I'm finally much happier with myself and most of all feel ready to date. But when it comes to actually dating, I feel stuck. Dating apps are the pits, but I'm really trying and putting myself out there. However, I'm not sure how or if to bring up the virgin thing without feeling like I'm telling them that I'm an alien or something. Is anyone else out there in the same boat? Did you tell your dates straight up? Did it kill the vibe or lead to actual honest conversations? How did you handle this without turning it into a bigger deal than it needs to be? I would love to hear your thoughts, stories, or just some good old-fashioned advice, because honestly, I'm ready to stop ghosting myself.
Dang. I feel like it's not even a big deal.
Yeah.
Like being a virgin is not a big deal.
No, I was going to say queen. There's like dudes in fucking Egypt that'll pay hella money for.
Yeah, there's that
for
one
your-
person who sold their virginity
That's what
for
I'm.
millions.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's like, yeah.
I'm like, people
are into it. It's either a fetish or just people don't care because they shouldn't care.
Yeah.
And if they care, honestly, you don't want to fuck that person.
Yeah.
Probably.
Which like, and then I guess it would be like cool if you meet someone that cares, because then they'll be like, oh wow, like cares in a good way. Like, wow, I'm so happy you saved yourself for the love of your life. Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever the thing is. Yeah.
But I just thought that was like very vulnerable.
Yeah, super vulnerable.
I'm like, oh, well, it's funny because there's this show called Virgins on, I think it's a TLC show. So it's on the Discovery app. But it's basically following 4 virgins. It's like, I think it's 2 guys, 2 girls. I can't remember, but they're like late 30s, early 40s. And I was like, oh, interesting.
And they're just virgins.
Yeah. And like, I only saw the first episode and it follows them and just kind of like goes into their story. They are kind of like nerdy though. Kind of quirky, funny. But yeah, not all of them, but yeah.
Okay. This one is from relationship advice. Boyfriend, 27 male, calls me, 26 female, fat.
Damn.
Been in a relationship for 6 years. I used to be in a pretty good shape. 5'6", 128 pounds. Lines and everything. After I started working 2 years ago, I gained 16 pounds due to stress and diet change. That's what, like... Yeah, like 30, 40, 140 some pounds. Lose weight. Okay, hold on. He's been nudging me to exercise more and lose weight. Since then, almost every day, he's made me workout plans, sent me weight loss videos, etc. I was unable to follow through his plans because I don't consider myself overweight, and this annoys him somehow. Today, he called me fat and said he is not sexually attracted to anyone as fat as I am when I was trying to flirt with him, and it broke my heart. And I had a total breakdown. I'm unsure what to feel or do. I could use more exercise, and I think his intentions are not good, but we've had similar fights before. His words really hurt me this time. Has anyone experienced similar body issues in a relationship?
That sucks, dude.
That's sad, actually.
That's awful. Like, jeez, poor girl. Well, and I think that's the worst when you don't think there's anything wrong with you and someone else is like, trying to make you feel bad about yourself, and
Yeah.
then trying to, like, I don't know, I feel like it's those things where, like, someone will be like, oh, look at that purple duck, and then you're like, that's not a purple duck.
Yeah.
And they're just like, purple duck, and then you think you're a purple duck.
Gaslighting.
Yes.
I think that if why are they even in a relationship with you? Because if they're trying to change you so much, like if they're like
Yeah.
not happy because of the way you look, like but they're dating you when you look that way, like I don't understand. What because like what are you doing here then? Go find someone you are attracted to then. Go find someone you want to be with. Why are you trying to force me to be something that I don't feel like I need to be?
I'm like, maybe he just can't get people in his league because he's such an ugly person.
Right.
So
Well,
he got one that's way out, and now he's trying to, like, keep her there.
nag her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nag her. Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? Don't let it bring you down. Don't let motherfuckers like that bring you down. That is not okay at all. Male or female, if they are negging you or if they are just trying to convince you that you are in some way wrong or like not right,
crazy,
like that's not a good person to be in a relationship with, and you don't need that. And so I'm kind of glad that she's still like, nah, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But like, I hate that she's still in this relationship having to fight this fight off.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's horrible.
Poor girl. I hope she gets out.
Definitely, me too.
Because, like, can only beat someone down so much before they start to, like, maybe agree or
they'll
maybe
start believing it. Yeah. Well, they say that just about any negative thing, like especially if you tell yourself it, you know. If she starts questioning herself, like, oh, am I like, do I need to work out more? Do I need to be more active? Like it's like it does something psychologically to you in the background.
Yeah.
If you say negative things to yourself. So yeah. Okay, and this is gonna be our final story.
Yes.
This comes from Am I the Asshole on Facebook. Am I the asshole for telling my husband our daughters and I would find something else to do for the 4th of July rather than go on the boat with his family? Backstory. It's our boat. We have been going out on it for over 20 years to the big lake party that is thrown every year. His family, who have always been either rude or straight up acted like we don't exist, has decided just now that they will be coming to visit and are going to stay in our driveway in their camper and expected to go on this boat. We have enough room for our family. I asked him which of our girls we would disinvite, and he suggested either one. Didn't matter to him as long as his family has spots. That's when I said I'd stay back with the girls and grandkids and find something else to do. He got annoyed with me for that. Am I the asshole? Update, we talked and he's agreed to take his family out the day before. His sisters aren't that understanding, so when it actually gets to that day, we will see what happens. But I already told my girls to be ready to not go on the boat. Me also, because I would never go without them. So I'll keep everyone updated. I think it's kind of fucked up the dad would be like, yeah, whatever kid needs to not be on there.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of fucked up. But also at the same time, like, what's wrong with him wanting to take his family on the boat?
Yeah.
I guess, like, well, I guess because she's saying, like, what, they're not nice to her.
Yeah. I feel like that's just, like, weird dynamic stuff. Yeah. Like, because I feel like it's kind of hard when it's, like, your partner's family. And I feel like as much as, like, you don't get along with them or they don't get along with you or whatever, I feel like there has to be, like, a level of civilness on both ends of the party because that is, like, your partner's people.
And, like, you're supposed to both care about that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. There should be a level of respect and compromise.
Yeah.
For sure.
And, like, I mean, I feel like it's nothing crazy because if not, like, she probably wouldn't be there anyways.
Yeah.
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 So.
Wow, it was an interesting riff.
That definitely, like, a grab bag for sure.
Yeah, I love the different varieties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kept me wondering what was next.
Yeah. Oh, maybe the next Reddit riff will also be as random, or maybe, like, we'll go back to themes, or maybe you guys will suggest a theme or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead and yell into the abyss about it.
Yes, of course.
And I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Have a great day
Great evening.
and good night.
Bye.